Thank you for choosing Wisdom of the Dharma. If you found this video insightful, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new update. Your support helps us keep sharing powerful, life-changing wisdom with the world. And don't forget to drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's grow and learn together. The doorway to inner sanctuary. Have you ever paused at the doorway of your own bedroom, not just to glance at the furniture or straighten the covers, but to truly feel it? What kind of energy welcomes you there? Is it an embrace of calm, or an invisible weight that lingers without a name? In a world that rushes forward with endless demands, the bedroom often becomes an afterthought, a place where we collapse at the end of a long day, more out of necessity than reverence. Yet in the wisdom of the Dharma, every space we inhabit reflects the landscape of our mind. And the room where we sleep is the sacred ground where tomorrow's karma quietly takes root. Tonight, I invite you to step beyond the surface. To see your bedroom not as a storage place for fatigue, but as a hidden temple, a Chinyam retreat, where every night becomes a ceremony of healing and rebirth. But here's the truth most of us forget. The energy that fills your bedroom doesn't just come from your thoughts. It lives in the very objects you surround yourself with. Some things hum with vitality. Others drain you, almost unnoticed, night after night. Among all these, few companions are as powerful, or as quietly devoted, as certain living beings, plants. Not mere decoration. Not just air purifiers. But living guardians. Silent healers. Carriers of ancient wisdom older than any language, any architecture, any invention we can claim. Tonight, I want to introduce you to 6 sacred plants, 6 allies that do more than brighten a room. They breathe with you. They watch over you. They stand quietly through the night, clearing the air, absorbing your unspoken worries, and weaving threads of peace into your dreams. These are not just botanical choices. They are invitations, tiny altars of hope and health, placed gently into the fabric of your daily life. Because when we shift even one small thing in our external world with mindfulness, the internal world responds. And that response shapes everything. Our thoughts, our emotions, our destiny. So if you've ever longed for deeper rest, clearer energy, or a sacred refuge at the heart of your home, this is where it begins. Not with noise. Not with ambition. But with a single, living presence whispering beside your pillow. You are safe. You are held. You are already healing. Let us walk together now through this secret garden of the night, and meet the 6 guardians waiting to awaken your sanctuary. The journey begins with a warrior cloaked in silence and strength, the snake plant. Part 1. Snake Plant, the Silent Warrior. In the restless currents of our modern lives, we often glorify noise, movement, and endless action. We chase after answers, accomplishments, and attention, believing that strength must be loud, visible, undeniable. But there are ancient truths that whisper otherwise. And one of those truths stands silently in the corner of a room, tall and unwavering, the snake plant. Known formally as Sansevieria, and sometimes playfully nicknamed mother-in-law's tongue, the snake plant is no ordinary piece of greenery. It is a warrior of stillness. A silent sentinel that guards your sacred space, not with sound or fury, but with the unseen power of quiet endurance. Most plants, like us, rest when the sun goes down. They turn inward. They wait for morning light. But the snake plant defies that rhythm. As you slip into sleep, it awakens, releasing fresh oxygen into the room, purifying the stagnant air, pulling invisible toxins from the atmosphere as if to say, "Sleep, dreamer. I will breathe for you tonight." Imagine it. You lay your head down after a weary day, letting go of the noise, the screens, the endless doing. And there, As the world outside grows silent, one being continues to work, not for itself, but for you. Softly, steadily, selflessly. But the snake plant's gift goes deeper than biology. In many Feng Shui traditions, it is revered for its ability to cut through stagnant qi, the heavy, dull energy that can cloud both space and spirit. Its sword like leaves, rising sharply toward the sky, symbolize clarity, protection, and resilience. Not through aggression, but through presence. Through simply standing tall. And perhaps that is the deeper Dharma lesson it offers us. That real strength does not need noise. That true power does not clamor for recognition. It simply exists, calm, rooted, breathing steadily through the darkest hours. I once knew a woman, an executive living in a high-rise city apartment, who confided that she felt constantly overwhelmed, suffocated by expectations she couldn't name. A simple ritual changed her life, placing a snake plant by her bed. Each night, as she powered down her devices and dimmed her lights, she would pause and touch one of the strong, cool leaves. It became her silent vow. Tonight, I allow myself to be still. Tonight, I remember that it is enough to simply breathe. Months later, she no longer spoke of burnout. She spoke of clarity, of boundaries, of knowing when to act, and when to stand firm in sacred stillness. This is the spirit of the snake plant. It does not bloom with flashy flowers. It does not spill across the room in extravagant vines. It simply is, strong, quiet, patient. And it invites you, too, to return to that part of yourself. The part that knows you do not need to prove anything to be worthy. You only need to breathe. To stand. To allow the healing of the night to weave itself into your spirit. Tonight, let the snake plant be your first companion on this journey back to yourself. Part 2. Lavender, the gentle healer. Not all healing comes in the form of struggle. Some healing arrives like a breath of warm wind across a tired soul, soft, unseen, but undeniable. And if any plant carries this kind of tender medicine, it is lavender. You may know lavender's fragrance from a candle, a bath, or a fleeting scent on a spring afternoon. But to invite a living lavender plant into your bedroom is to weave a deeper kind of magic into your life, a silent companion that doesn't just decorate your space but transforms the very texture of your nights. Scientifically, lavender is celebrated for its power to lower heart rate, quiet the mind, and ease the body into deeper rest. But long before science spoke, the spirit already knew. Lavender has been honored across centuries as a plant of protection, purification, and emotional rebirth. In ancient temples, it was used to bless sacred spaces. In old households, it was tucked beneath pillows to ward off nightmares and soften grief. In the Dharma, lavender mirrors the gentle energy of metta, the boundless loving-kindness that asks for nothing in return. It teaches that true compassion doesn't force itself into the room, it simply radiates, asking permission with every breath. I once met an artist, a woman who had fallen into a deep well of exhaustion, her creativity dried up like a forgotten riverbed. Prescription sleep aids left her numb. Meditation felt impossible. In a moment of quiet desperation, she bought a small lavender plant from a roadside stand and placed it by her window. Every night, before closing her eyes, she would breathe in its soft aroma, no expectations, no pressure. Just breath. Just presence. Slowly, like spring returning after a long winter, something began to shift. Her dreams softened. Her hands found their way back to the canvas. Her mornings no longer felt like battles. Lavender didn't heal her by demanding action. It healed her by creating a space where healing could unfold naturally, without force. Place your lavender where sunlight can kiss its leaves, and where its subtle scent can reach you as you drift between waking and dreaming. Let it remind you that you are allowed to rest. You are allowed to let go. Because healing often begins not with doing, but with surrender. With the courage to soften. With the willingness to trust that even in stillness, profound transformations are blooming. Tonight, as the lavender breathes beside you, may you remember. True strength is gentle. True healing is patient. And the heart, when given kindness, always knows how to find its way home. Part 3, Peace Lily, the Guardian Priestess. If your bedroom were a temple, then the peace lily would be its silent priestess. Graceful yet unassuming, it tends to the sacred energies of your space without fanfare, without demand, only presence. With its pure white blooms rising like quiet prayers above deep green leaves, the peace lily does more than cleanse the air of toxins. It also cleanses the invisible burdens we carry, the heavy emotions we think we've tucked away, the quiet sorrows that settle into the corners of our spirit. In Buddhist thought, white represents not a sterile perfection, but the courageous purity that emerges after facing darkness. The peace lily is not a plant that insists you be flawless. It honors the messy, tender rebirth that comes from living, losing, and choosing to begin again. I once met a retired teacher, recently widowed, who couldn't bear the silence of his home. Everything felt heavy, saturated with old grief. One day, on a small impulse, he brought home a peace lily, drawn, he said, to the way its flowers seemed to lift their faces toward an unseen sun. At first, it was just a decoration. But gradually, he noticed that the very act of watering it, of witnessing its steady life, became a ritual of hope. His morning shifted. The house didn't feel less empty. But it felt more alive. The peace lily doesn't erase pain. It stands quietly with you in it. It says, through its silent blooming, there is still beauty after brokenness. There is still breath after loss. Place your peace lily in a shaded corner of your bedroom, where it can watch over you without demanding attention. Let it absorb not only the dust and chemicals of the world, but also the invisible weariness that sometimes weighs down even our dreams. And each time you glimpse its white petals, remember, you are allowed to start over. You are allowed to find peace not because you've avoided suffering, but because you have walked through it, and chosen to open your heart again. In the gentle gaze of the peace lily, you will find a mirror. The quiet resilience of your own spirit. The soft strength that has carried you this far. The silent prayer that continues, even when you cannot yet find the words. Tonight, let the peace lily bless your rest. Let it stand watch, a silent guardian of your unfolding. Part 4, Aloe Vera, the Inner Physician. In the plant kingdom, there are those that dazzle with blooms and fragrance. And then there are the quiet healers, the ones who carry medicine in their very being, asking for nothing but a little space and a little light. Aloe vera belongs to this sacred second kind. It does not clamor for attention. It does not wither when neglected. It endures. And in its silent endurance, it offers us a profound lesson in inner strength. Most people know aloe for its cooling touch on sunburned skin, its ability to soothe irritation and heal wounds. But its deeper gift lies beyond the surface. Aloe breathes calm into a room. It absorbs toxins invisibly lingering in the air, those silent aggressors released from furniture, paints, or even cleaning agents, and in doing so, it becomes a guardian of your body's most tender hours of rest. In many ancient traditions, aloe vera was called the plant of immortality. Not because it lives forever, but because it embodies the secret of resilience. Holding nourishment within. Surviving drought. Offering healing even after seasons of hardship. There's a quiet magic to aloe that many overlook. Some say that when aloe starts to brown or droop without obvious cause, It is absorbing heavy energy, pain or tension that the human heart could not carry alone. It takes it in. It transforms it. It allows you to rest without knowing how much was lifted from your spirit. I once knew a young mother balancing a demanding job, 2 toddlers, and the silent expectations she placed on herself to handle it all. Burnout was creeping in like a slow tide. One evening, after reading about the healing power of aloe, she placed a small, vibrant pot by her bedside. Every night before sleep, she would place her hand gently on its cool, thick leaves, feeling their firmness, their quiet resilience. It became a sacred exchange. Hold what I can no longer carry tonight. Weeks later, her breath became deeper, her sleep less fractured, her mornings less frantic. Aloe taught her what no lecture could. That softness and strength are not opposites. That to heal, sometimes all we must do is allow space to be imperfect, to be tired, to be tender. Place your aloe near a window where it can sip the light and transmute it into calmness. Let it remind you, night after night, that true healing is not loud. It is steady. It is silent. And it is always happening, beneath the surface, where roots run deep and unseen. Tonight, may aloe cradle your weariness and transform it into peace. Part 5, Jasmine, the Heart Awakener. There are scents that pass through the senses without leaving a mark. And then there are scents like jasmine, whispers from another realm, reaching not just the nose, but the very center of the soul. Jasmine is more than a flower. It is a gentle key that unlocks hidden chambers of the heart, where old grief sleeps and forgotten hopes linger. Scientifically, jasmine's fragrance is proven to calm the nervous system, ease anxiety, and even improve sleep quality. But beyond science, jasmine carries a spiritual signature recognized for centuries across cultures. It is the flower of the heart, the plant of sacred intimacy, not just with others, but with oneself. In the Dharma, we speak often of citta, the heart-mind, the seat of both emotion and consciousness. Jasmine speaks directly to this place, not with words, but with a softness that invites surrender, trust, and belonging. I remember hearing the story of a man who had lost his way after a painful divorce. The house once filled with laughter had grown silent and stale. On a suggestion from a friend, he placed a small jasmine plant by his bedroom window. At first, it seemed almost silly. How could a plant mend a broken heart? But night after night, as the sweet, subtle fragrance filled the air, something within him began to thaw. He found himself smiling at memories instead of aching from them. He caught himself humming while making coffee in the morning. And one evening, sitting quietly by the jasmine, he realized his heart had never truly broken. It had simply closed its doors for a while, waiting for a safer season to reopen. Jasmine teaches us that love is not only something we give to others. It is something we must nurture within ourselves, tenderly, patiently, like a sacred garden. Place your jasmine where morning sunlight can gently kiss its blossoms. Let its fragrance rise to greet you as you prepare for sleep, and again as you awaken. Let it remind you that you are never truly alone. That there is, within you, a wellspring of sweetness untouched by sorrow. Because the heart, even when bruised, remembers how to bloom. And jasmine, with its quiet devotion, encourages that blooming, not by force, but by invitation. Tonight, as you breathe in the soft perfume of jasmine, may you feel the walls within you soften. May you remember that vulnerability is not weakness, but the birthplace of all true connection. And may your dreams be laced with the tender promise that every ending is merely a doorway to a deeper love. Part 6, Golden Pothos, the Flow Bringer. Some energies enter a room like a drumbeat, loud, commanding, insistent. And some, like the golden pothos, slip in like a river, quiet, persistent, bringing movement where stagnation once reigned. At first glance, the golden pothos appears simple, heart-shaped leaves, soft green patterns kissed with gold, vines that reach and curve with gentle grace. Yet hidden within its modesty lies an extraordinary gift, the ability to restore flow, of energy, of prosperity, of life itself. In the teachings of Feng Shui, flow is everything. Stagnant energy is seen as a breeding ground for confusion, fatigue, and even financial difficulty. When energy moves freely, so too does creativity, vitality, and abundance. Golden pothos doesn't push or force. It simply grows, softly, steadily, weaving new pathways through space and spirit alike. It teaches us that movement doesn't have to be violent or chaotic. True progress often looks like a quiet unfolding, like roots stretching unseen beneath the soil. I once knew a small business owner, a woman navigating the uncertainty of her first entrepreneurial venture. Her office was efficient, meticulously organized, but somehow the energy felt stuck. A mentor suggested she bring a golden pothos into her workspace and her bedroom, symbols of ongoing growth and financial flow. Skeptical but curious, she hung a vine above her bed where it could catch the natural currents of the room. Within weeks, she reported feeling more energized in the mornings, more open to new ideas, less trapped by the fear of failure. Opportunities began to appear where before there were only obstacles. Was it magic? Or simply the natural result of shifting the environment to invite movement? Golden pothos reminds us that abundance, like water, needs space to flow. When we cling too tightly, whether to old fears, old patterns, or even old definitions of success, we dam the river of our own becoming. Place your golden pothos high, where its vines can cascade downward, tracing invisible rivers of chi through your space. Let it dance softly on the currents of your dreams. Let it teach you that growth is not a sprint, but a patient spiral upward. Tonight, as you drift into sleep beneath its reaching leaves, may you remember, you are not meant to stay stagnant. You are meant to flow. You are meant to expand. And even in darkness, even in uncertainty, the river of life is carrying you forward, always, always forward. Closing reflection, planting seeds of stillness and awakening. Tonight, we didn't just meet 6 plants. We walked through 6 ancient doorways, each leading deeper into the sacred landscape of healing, of peace, of quiet transformation. These plants were never just decorations. They were living invitations, silent teachers patiently waiting for us to notice them. Waiting for us to remember that in the small, unnoticed corners of life, true miracles are born. Your bedroom is not just a place where your body rests. It is where your energy resets. It is where your dreams are seated. And it is where the next chapter of your karma begins, breath by breath, night after night. The 6 guardians and their Dharma. Each plant we met tonight holds a different kind of medicine, one that touches not just the physical world, but the unseen currents of the spirit. The snake plant stood tall for us, teaching the sacred art of strength in silence. It showed us that we do not need to prove, to shout, or to exhaust ourselves to be powerful. In the stillness of night, it breathes for us, guarding our dreams, standing sentinel over the fragile hours where we remember who we truly are. Lavender wrapped us in its gentle arms, reminding us that healing doesn't always roar into the room. Sometimes, it whispers. Sometimes, it is as soft as a single breath scented with kindness. Lavender is the living embodiment of compassion, a steady presence teaching us that softness is not weakness, it is strength in its most tender form. The peace lily invited us into the temple of rebirth. Its pristine white blooms rise not because there is no pain, but because there has been pain, and beyond it, the courage to open once again. It holds our sorrow without judgment and reminds us that starting over is sacred. Aloe vera showed us that resilience is not about never being wounded. It is about carrying the waters of healing inside us, quietly, without boasting, without urgency. It taught us that we are allowed to be both soft and strong, that real healing happens unseen, deep beneath the surface. Jasmine awakened the chambers of the heart we had forgotten were still alive. Its fragrance stirred the places inside us where hope had gone quiet. It sang to us of belonging, of tenderness, of the ancient truth that love, beginning with ourselves, is the foundation upon which all joy is built. And finally, golden pothos danced into our awareness, reminding us that life is movement. Energy must flow, or it becomes stale. Wealth, creativity, inspiration, all thrive when we allow space for change, for soft expansion, for gentle reaching toward the light. Your bedroom, a mirror of your inner world. In the Dharma, we are taught that the outer world is a reflection of the inner world. The state of your bedroom is not a trivial matter, it is a profound metaphor for the state of your spirit. A cluttered room often mirrors a cluttered mind. Stagnant energy in the environment reflects stagnation in personal growth. Heavy, oppressive air echoes unresolved emotions weighing down the heart. But just as the outer reflects the inner, the reverse is also true. When we take conscious, loving action in our external world, the inner world responds. When you place a healing plant beside your bed, it is more than decor, it is a living prayer. A small but potent affirmation that says, I am ready to heal. I am ready to grow. I honor my journey. Each night, as you lie down to rest, you are planting seeds, not just seeds of rest, but seeds of karma. What you nurture today shapes the destiny of your tomorrows. And sometimes, the first step toward changing your entire life is as simple as tending to a single, living being beside you. A gentle ritual for sacred sleep. Before you sleep tonight, or any night you choose to claim as sacred, consider trying this simple practice. Turn off your screens early. Let your mind soften before you enter the sanctuary of sleep. Approach your plant with reverence. Run your fingers lightly along a leaf. Feel its coolness, its life force. Whisper, either aloud or in your heart, thank you for holding space for my healing tonight. Breathe deeply. Inhale the air it has so lovingly purified for you. As you exhale, imagine releasing all the burdens you do not wish to carry into your dreams. Offer a bow, not with your body, unless you wish, but with your heart. A bow of gratitude. A bow of surrender. A bow to the sacredness of your own becoming. Sleep knowing you are supported. Not only by the plant itself, but by the very forces of life that flow through all things, nurturing you from the inside out. You do not need perfection, only willingness. You don't need to buy 6 plants tonight. You don't need a perfectly curated space to begin. You don't need to wait until you deserve peace. You are already worthy. Even choosing one plant, one simple intention, is enough. Enough to start shifting the currents in your room. Enough to start shifting the currents in your life. The Dharma teaches that even the mightiest tree was once a tiny seed surrendered into the dark earth. So too with you. Every act of loving awareness is a seed. And every seed, when tended with patience and compassion, inevitably bears fruit. The final blessing. As we close this journey tonight, I leave you with this thought. The sacred is not somewhere far away. It is here. In your breath. In the stillness between heartbeats. In the way you choose to honor your own rest. Each night, as you step across the threshold of your bedroom, you are stepping into a sacred temple of your own making. Let it be a place where peace blooms without permission. Where healing rises from the quiet soil of your being. Where dreams are not escapes, but messages from a soul finally allowed to rest. And always remember, you are the gardener. You are the temple keeper. You are the seed, the soil, and the sunlight. May your nights be gentle. May your dreams be deep. And may the journey of your awakening continue, one breath, one leaf, one sacred step at a time. If tonight's journey touched something quiet inside your heart, I invite you to take one small but powerful step. Comment below with a simple affirmation, something personal, like, I honor my space. I honor my healing. Let your words become seeds of inspiration for others who walk this path beside you. Like this video if you believe that even the smallest acts of care, like tending to a single plant, can ripple outward into a life of deeper peace and abundance. Subscribe to Wisdom of the Dharma and turn on notifications, so that together, we can continue planting seeds of awareness, breath by breath, night by night. From the depths of my heart, thank you for sharing this sacred moment with me. Thank you for choosing healing. Thank you for tending to the quiet spaces of your soul. May your room be filled with light. May your rest be deep and true. And may your spirit continue blooming, gently, courageously, beautifully. Until we meet again on the next journey. Be well, be peaceful, and never stop believing in the silent miracles growing all around you.